What if the moment people start to dislike you is the exact moment you are finally doing something right? It sounds uncomfortable, it feels confusing, and most people misinterpret it completely. You expect that doing the right thing will earn you respect. You believe that growth will bring support. You assume that becoming better will make people appreciate you more. But reality often moves in the opposite direction. As you begin to change, as you become more disciplined, as you stop tolerating what once held you back, something shifts. The same people who once felt comfortable around you begin to act differently. Their energy changes. Their attitude becomes colder. And without saying it directly, they begin to resist you. Not everyone's hatred is a sign that something is wrong with you. Sometimes it is proof that something is finally right. If you're ready to stop doubting yourself when others turn against you and start recognizing it as a sign of your growth, write this in the comment below: I will rise beyond their envy. Let that be the confidence that no outside opinion can shake. Here are 10 things you are doing right when they start to hate you. Number 1. You stopped seeking approval. The moment you no longer need validation, you become difficult to control. People who benefited from your need for acceptance feel your independence as a threat. Your self-confidence exposes their expectations. The desire for approval is one of the strongest forces shaping human behavior. It begins early in life, reinforced by systems where acceptance and praise are tied to performance. Over time, many people internalize this pattern. They begin to measure their worth through the reactions of others. The Stoics recognized that this creates vulnerability. When your sense of value depends on external approval, your behavior becomes adjustable by anyone who can give or withhold that approval. You become predictable. You act in ways that maintain acceptance, even if those actions conflict with your own judgment. When you begin to release this need, everything changes. Your decisions become internally guided. You no longer ask, will this be accepted? But, is this correct? This shift is subtle but powerful, and it does not go unnoticed. People who were accustomed to influencing your behavior through approval begin to feel the change. They may not understand it consciously, but they sense that something is different. Their praise no longer produces the same effect. Their disapproval no longer redirects your actions. This loss of influence can create discomfort. It may appear as criticism, distance, or even hostility. Imagine a situation where you previously agreed with others to maintain harmony, even when you disagreed internally. Once you begin expressing your true perspective calmly and clearly, the dynamic shifts. Some may respect it, others may interpret it as defiance. The Stoics would advise remaining steady. Independence does not require aggression, it requires consistency. Continue acting according to your principles without needing constant confirmation. Over time, those who value authenticity will adjust. Those who depended on your compliance may not. And that separation, while uncomfortable, is often necessary for genuine growth. Number 2, you set boundaries. When you start saying no, limiting access, and protecting your time, some people interpret it as arrogance. In reality, it is self-respect. Boundaries remove the convenience others once had with you. Boundaries are one of the clearest expressions of self-respect. They define how your time, energy, and attention are used. The Stoics believed that your life is composed of these resources. Where you invest them determines your direction. Without boundaries, these resources are easily consumed by others, often without intention, but with consistent effect. When you begin setting boundaries, the change is immediate. You say no more often. You become selective with your time. You reduce your availability for things that do not align with your priorities. This shift creates friction, especially with those who benefited from your previous openness. Imagine always being available when someone needed your help, your attention, or your presence. Over time, this availability becomes expected. It is no longer seen as generosity, but as normal behavior. When you begin to limit that access, the expectation is disrupted. Some people will understand. They will recognize your need to protect your time. Others will not. They may interpret your boundaries as rejection. They may label your behavior as arrogance or selfishness. The Stoics would remind you that perception does not define reality. Setting boundaries is not about rejecting others, it is about respecting yourself. It is about ensuring that your energy is directed toward what matters most. To apply this effectively, boundaries must be consistent. Occasional enforcement creates confusion. Clear, repeated enforcement creates understanding. You do not need to explain every decision in detail. A simple, calm statement is often enough. I am not available for that. I need to focus on this right now. Over time, people adjust to your boundaries. Those who respect them remain. Those who do not may distance themselves. And while that may feel like loss, it is often a necessary refinement of your environment. Number 3, you are growing faster than they are. Growth creates distance. As your mindset, discipline, and vision improve, you no longer relate to the same conversations or habits. That gap can turn admiration into resentment. Growth is not only internal, it changes how you interact with the world. Your interests shift, your priorities evolve. Your tolerance for certain behaviors decreases. As this happens, the alignment you once shared with others begins to change. Conversations that once felt engaging may now feel repetitive. Habits that once felt normal may now feel limiting. This creates distance, not necessarily physical, but psychological. You begin operating at a different level of awareness and intention. For some, this distance is inspiring. They see your progress and feel motivated to improve, but for others, it creates discomfort. It highlights the gap between where they are and where you are going. This discomfort can transform into resentment, especially if they interpret your growth as judgment. Imagine spending time with people who prioritize distraction while you begin focusing on discipline and purpose. The difference becomes visible. You decline certain activities. You engage differently in conversations. Over time, the shared rhythm fades. The Stoics would advise accepting this as part of the process. Growth naturally creates separation, not because you are superior, but because your direction has changed. Trying to maintain the same level of connection by reducing your progress will only create internal conflict. Instead, allow the distance to exist without hostility. Maintain respect, but remain committed to your path. Over time, new connections will form ones aligned with your current direction. Number 4, you refuse to tolerate disrespect. When you stop laughing at things that once annoyed you or accepting behavior that once drained you, people notice. Your standards rise, and not everyone is willing to meet them. Tolerance is often misunderstood as strength. While patience and understanding are valuable, excessive tolerance of disrespect creates a pattern where harmful behavior becomes normalized. The Stoics believed that self-respect requires clarity about what is acceptable. When you begin raising your standards, the change becomes visible quickly. You no longer dismiss comments that undermine you. You no longer participate in situations that drain your energy. You address behavior that you once ignored. This shift disrupts established patterns. People who were accustomed to your tolerance may react. They may accuse you of being sensitive or difficult, but what they are reacting to is not your change. It is the removal of their previous access to your tolerance. Imagine someone who frequently makes dismissive remarks, previously accepted as humor. When you stop engaging with those remarks or address them calmly, the dynamic changes. The behavior is no longer reinforced. And without reinforcement, it becomes uncomfortable for the person relying on it. The Stoics would advise maintaining composure while enforcing standards. There is no need for aggression. Calm clarity is enough. I do not find that acceptable. That is not something I will engage with. Over time, your environment adjusts to your standards. Those willing to meet them remain. Those unwilling move away. And in that process, your surroundings become more aligned with your values. Number 5, you are becoming more disciplined. Discipline requires sacrifice. You become less available for distractions, less interested in unproductive habits, and more focused on your goals. This can make others uncomfortable with their own lack of discipline. Discipline is one of the most visible forms of change because it affects how you spend your time. The Stoics believe that time is the only resource that cannot be recovered once lost. Therefore, how you use it reflects your priorities more clearly than anything you say. When you begin to develop discipline, your behavior changes in ways that others can see immediately. You decline activities that do not serve your goals. You become more selective with your commitments. You structure your day with intention rather than impulse. This shift often creates tension, not because discipline is wrong, but because it highlights contrast. Imagine being part of a group where certain habits are normalized: constant distraction, late nights without purpose, avoidance of responsibility. When you begin to operate differently, your presence becomes a reminder of what is possible, and that reminder can be uncomfortable for those who are not ready to change. Instead of addressing that discomfort internally, some may project it outward. They may question your choices. They may suggest that you are overdoing it or that you are taking things too seriously. These comments are rarely about your behavior directly. They are reflections of their own resistance to discipline. The Stoics would advise remaining consistent without needing to justify your actions constantly. Discipline does not require approval. It requires repetition. Over time, results become visible, and those results speak more clearly than any explanation. To apply this effectively, focus on building routines rather than relying on motivation. Motivation fluctuates, discipline remains. Set clear times for focused work. Limit exposure to distractions intentionally. Track your progress not for external validation, but for internal clarity. When discipline becomes part of your identity, resistance from others loses its influence. Number 6. You no longer react emotionally. When you stop giving reactions to gossip, provocation, or criticism, people lose the ability to influence you. Your calm becomes frustrating to those who expect drama. Emotional reactions are one of the most accessible tools for influence. When someone knows how to trigger a response, anger, defensiveness, excitement, they can predict and shape your behavior. The Stoics understood this deeply. They trained themselves to observe emotions without becoming controlled by them. When you begin practicing this discipline, your responses change. Situations that once produced immediate reactions now receive measured attention. You pause before speaking. You evaluate before responding. This shift is often misunderstood. People who are accustomed to your reactions may interpret your calm as indifference, distance, or even weakness. But in reality, it is the opposite. It is control. Imagine someone attempting to provoke you with criticism. Previously, you may have responded immediately, defending your position. Now, you listen. You assess whether the criticism is valid. If it is, you adjust. If it is not, you let it pass without engagement. This lack of reaction removes the reward for provocation. The Stoics believed that not every action deserves a response. Some behaviors lose their power when they are not acknowledged. Silence, in these moments, is not avoidance, it is strategy. To develop this skill, begin by identifying your emotional triggers. Notice what situations create immediate reactions. Then practice introducing a pause. Even a few seconds can create enough distance for reason to return. Over time, this pause becomes natural. Your responses become deliberate rather than automatic. And as this happens, your environment changes. People recognize that they cannot easily influence you through emotion. Some will respect this. Others may find it frustrating. But in either case, you retain control. Number 7. You are focused on your purpose. A person with direction is hard to distract. When your energy is invested in something meaningful, you naturally withdraw from unnecessary interactions. This can be misunderstood as distance or pride. Purpose creates clarity. It defines where your energy goes and where it does not. The Stoics believed that a life without direction becomes vulnerable to distraction. When there is no clear objective, external influences fill the space. People, events, and impulses begin to dictate how time is spent. But when purpose is defined, decisions become simpler. You evaluate opportunities based on whether they align with your direction. You decline what does not serve your path. This clarity often changes your social interactions. You become less available for activities that once filled your time. You engage in conversations differently. You prioritize depth over frequency. For those who are used to your previous availability, this shift can feel like withdrawal. They may interpret it as disinterest or superiority. But the Stoics would remind you that focus requires sacrifice. To move in one direction, you must leave others behind. Imagine working toward a meaningful goal that requires consistent effort. You allocate time each day to progress. As a result, you have less time for casual interaction. Some people will understand and respect this. Others may not. They may expect you to maintain the same level of availability as before. The key is to remain consistent without hostility. You do not need to reject others. You need to prioritize your purpose. Over time, those who align with your direction will remain part of your environment. Those who do not will naturally create distance. And this adjustment is not loss, it is alignment. Number 8, you are exposing truth without trying. Sometimes your growth highlights others' insecurities. You do not need to say anything. Your actions alone reveal what others are avoiding in themselves. Truth does not always require words. It often appears through contrast. When you begin to operate with discipline, clarity, and self-respect, your behavior becomes a reference point. Others compare themselves to it, often unconsciously. This comparison can create discomfort, especially if it highlights areas they have avoided addressing. The Stoics understood that people resist what challenges their self-image. If someone believes they are disciplined, but your actions reveal a higher standard, it creates tension. They must either adjust their behavior or reinterpret yours. Often, they choose the latter. They may minimize your efforts. They may question your motives. They may frame your behavior in a way that protects their existing beliefs. Imagine improving your habits, waking early, focusing on meaningful work, avoiding distractions. You do not speak about it constantly. You simply act. Over time, others notice. Some feel inspired, others feel exposed. The exposure is not intentional. It is a byproduct of contrast. The Stoics would advise remaining silent in these moments. There is no need to defend your behavior or explain your choices repeatedly. Your actions provide enough information. Let others interpret them as they will. Over time, those who are ready to grow will use your example as motivation. Those who are not may resist, but their reaction does not change the value of your actions. Number 9, you are becoming independent. The more self-reliant you become, the less you depend on others for support, validation, or direction. Independence removes control, and some people struggle with that shift. Independence is one of the most misunderstood forms of growth. Many people interpret it as isolation or rejection of others, but the Stoics saw it differently. To them, independence meant stability. It meant that your decisions were guided by reason rather than pressure. It meant that your sense of direction did not collapse when external support was removed. When you begin developing this kind of self-reliance, your relationships change. You no longer seek constant reassurance before making decisions. You do not depend on others to define your worth. You do not require approval to move forward. This shift creates a new dynamic. People who once influenced your choices begin to lose that influence, not because you reject them, but because you no longer need them in the same way. Imagine previously relying on others for guidance in every major decision. You would ask for opinions, seek validation, and adjust your choices based on feedback. Over time, this creates a pattern where others expect to be involved in your direction. When you begin making decisions independently, that expectation is disrupted. Some will respect your autonomy, others may feel excluded or unnecessary. This feeling can manifest as criticism or subtle resistance. The Stoics would advise understanding this reaction without allowing it to alter your course. Independence does not require isolation. You can still value input, still maintain relationships, still collaborate, but the final decision remains yours. This distinction is essential. It allows you to benefit from others' perspectives without becoming dependent on them. To strengthen independence, practice making decisions based on your own reasoning. Seek advice when necessary, but do not rely on it to define your path. Evaluate outcomes, learn from mistakes, and refine your judgment over time. This process builds confidence, not the loud, performative kind, but the quiet certainty that comes from experience. And with that certainty, external influence loses its control. Number 10. You are no longer easy to manipulate. When you understand your worth, your boundaries, and your direction, manipulation stops working. People who once influenced your decisions lose that ability, and not all of them will accept it quietly. Manipulation depends on uncertainty. It relies on gaps in self-awareness, unclear boundaries, and the need for external validation. When these elements are present, influence becomes easy. A suggestion can become a decision. A criticism can become self-doubt. A small pressure can redirect your behavior. But when you begin to understand yourself clearly, these entry points close. You know what you value. You know what you will accept. You know where you are going. This clarity creates resistance, not aggressive resistance, but structural resistance. Influence has nothing to attach to. Imagine someone attempting to guide your decision through subtle pressure. Previously, you may have adjusted your choice to avoid conflict or gain approval. Now, you evaluate the situation independently. You consider the suggestion, but you do not absorb it automatically. If it aligns with your reasoning, you accept it. If it does not, you decline without hesitation. This shift removes predictability. The Stoics believed that predictability, when driven by external influence, is a weakness. It allows others to anticipate and control your behavior. But when your decisions are grounded internally, you become difficult to manipulate because your responses are not driven by external pressure. Not everyone will accept this change. Some people prefer relationships where influence is easy. They may attempt to reintroduce old patterns through persuasion, guilt, or pressure. The key is consistency. Each time you respond according to your principles, you reinforce your independence. Over time, manipulation loses its effectiveness. Those who relied on it may distance themselves. Those who respect your autonomy will remain. And in that process, your environment becomes more aligned with your values. Being disliked is not always a problem to solve. Sometimes it is a signal that you are evolving beyond environments and expectations that once limited you. The goal is not to be liked by everyone. The goal is to live with clarity, discipline, and self-respect. The Stoics did not seek universal approval. They understood that trying to satisfy everyone leads to internal conflict. Different people expect different things. Meeting all expectations simultaneously is impossible. Attempting to do so creates inconsistency in your own behavior. Instead, they focused on alignment, aligning actions with principles, aligning decisions with reason, aligning behavior with long-term goals rather than short-term acceptance. When you adopt this approach, approval becomes secondary. It is no longer the measure of your direction. It becomes a byproduct, sometimes present, sometimes absent, but never the foundation. This shift changes how you interpret resistance. Instead of seeing dislike as failure, you examine its source. Does it come from violating your principles or from upholding them? This question provides clarity. If your actions are aligned with your values, resistance may simply be a reaction to change, and change, by its nature, disrupts comfort. The Stoics would remind you that growth often requires leaving behind versions of yourself that others were comfortable with. This is not rejection, it is evolution. You are not responsible for maintaining an identity that no longer serves your development. Over time, this perspective creates stability. You are no longer influenced by every opinion. You are not elevated by praise or diminished by criticism. You remain steady because your direction is internally defined. And in that steadiness, you find a form of freedom that does not depend on external acceptance. Say this to yourself: nothing can stop my growth.